it's a niche franchise, but it is such a cool world conceptually. So many things about it. They haven't really cracked the nut of Tron trying to turn it into a franchise, but it is really beloved, right? I mean, as much like Black Hole was of that era, and I really liked Black Hole, but it felt kind of like very, very much a Disney movie first.
Yeah.
So
it was 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea in space.
Right. Right.
But the thing about Tron 2 is that not Tron 2, but Tron as well. You know, the first film had some really interesting ideas about the users, and the programs, the anthropomorphized programs knew that there was this world, this spirit. It was this spiritual world, that we were the gods. And what was, I thought, Legacy's biggest failing as a movie was that it didn't. So Tron, there was no internet before when Tron came out. And all great science fiction, in a way, is allegorically speaking to us. And when they made Tron Legacy, the thing that I objected to was they created this idea of the grid, this closed off world. It had nothing to say about what had happened in the interim between Tron and Tron Legacy in terms of our society, and where do the programs now think the users are? You know, where there was so much going on that could have been addressed, but they didn't do that. They made the world a closed off world where really it wasn't like that in the original Tron. You know, the MCP, there was some really interesting science fiction-y ideas.
That was the Incom server. Sorry, I was just watching it. The whole point was that Flynn recreated that in his own world, and it's a vessel for the ISOs to come in and to follow that up.
I get all that, but all that had nothing to say about where the world of the internet went. I mean, you talk about where the first Tron was the very beginnings of where the internet could go. And then in Tron Legacy, there was no commentary about any of that. Like you said, they created these ISOs and all that. But what about the whole idea of where the internet had evolved into? Even the idea of video games and space paranoids and all that. So it didn't. I think the reason it's never broken free, unlike, say, something like The Matrix, which is really what Tron should have been. You know, we saw that. I mean, the Matrix had already taken Tron way beyond where it's ever gone, and Tron Legacy was it was 11 years after 69. The Matrix and had a lot less to say.
Does everything need to have something to say in a political? Can't tell a story about a son looking for his father and what is life.
No,
still have the religious elements,
especially a science fiction story. Great science fiction does have something to say. That's one of the appeals of the genre in general.
Of Tron Legacy, not about finding perfection and realizing it's unobtainable, but all around you. That's the father-son story. Sorry, Alan.
Well, yeah, I mean, just to back you up there, you know, it is that story of a son looking for his father, a father who disappeared for some reason. And when he finally finds the father, realized that the father sacrificed his relationship with his son in order to keep the world
Which is not
safe.
The story of Tron. That was added. That was added and turned into Tron.
Right.
Legacy.
I will agree with you, but at least it had a human story behind it versus Ares, which was just a pure action movie.
And it didn't have anything to do with Tron.
No, didn't have anything to say about anything.
No,
had nothing to say, and that's the problem I have with most modern sci-fi. Some of the best sci-fi I have ever experienced, the kind of sci-fi where I've like can't stop thinking about it, had very little good special effects. Right? I mean, one of the best episodes of Twilight Zone, To Serve Man, it's a cookbook. I mean, some great sound effects and makeup effects. But
the only visual effect in it is from another movie. It's a piece of stock footage.
Yeah.
Eye of the Beholder was another one.
Another great one.
Yeah. I mean, just so many great Twilight Zones explored ideas. That was not an effects heavy show, but those resonated so much, and we're not getting sci-fi that's like that now. The problem is, I think we're living in the warnings that sci-fi gave us. We're living it now, especially with AI coming, which will put so many people out of work in the next 5 years with AI. And we'll have a topic later in the show about what's happening in Hollywood that relates to AI. But we're living in the time that we were warned about 50 years ago.
Well, Chris, too, I mean, if you talk about IP, Tron and Blade Runner are really interesting examples of movies that have developed cult followings that didn't make any money.
Yeah.
And Hollywood took both and put a ton of money into making. I love Blade Runner 2049, but why would you possibly make a sequel to Blade Runner? It made no money. It's a movie that is not highly regarded except amongst us, the cinephiles. And yet they spent $175 million on a sequel to that movie.
I mean, what was the original Blade Runner's post theatrical life like? Did it make enough to justify a sequel? Or
well, I think it had a great post theatrical life. I mean, it's considered, a modern classic now, but it was always niche. It's always a niche thing. And Blade Runner 2049 was about as good a sequel as you could possibly imagine for that movie, and nobody went. It was made by one of our great filmmakers. It looks incredible. I mean, it's really an interesting movie, and nobody went, and beautifully crafted, and nobody went and saw it.
But it's beloved. I remember seeing Blade Runner on a Friday.
Oh, I saw it for sure.
I was there, and I was in an empty theater for a Harrison Ford movie at the height of his Star Wars fame, right, Rob?
Coming out a year after Indiana Jones, Raiders.
Yeah. And the theater was empty, and I couldn't believe it. And the movie looked beautiful. It was slow, but I knew, the inspiration taken from film noir. So I was ready for it. And it made me think, I thought, wow, I got to see that movie again just to absorb it and even be in the world. The music, the Vangelis, how do you pronounce
Vangelis?
It's not gel, it's gal. It's a hard G.
It is gal. Okay, Vangelis. Soundtrack.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Loved it. Yes, loved it. Everything about Blade Runner. Loved it. It had that verisimilitude that I know you love, Rob.
It's still to this day. It's probably the most influential movie ever made. In terms of what came after, in terms of the way it, it's interesting. Tron Ares was shot by Jeff Cronenweth, the son of Jordan Cronenweth, who shot Blade Runner.
That's why they made a sequel, by the way, to Blade Runner, what you just said. Yes, because it might have not been the greatest at the beginning, but it added so much to culture and video gaming and the iconic graphic, I mean, all that.
But in terms of money, like in terms of, you still have to ask yourself, they're looking at IPs without asking, it's just because we can do a thing, should we do a thing? And you look at something like that and go, I'm sure that no one, I mean, I agree with you. Blade Runner is such an influential movie, but it still didn't make money. And so when does somebody decide? I think there's a huge disconnect between people who decide whether or not they should make a movie, because we live in an insular world. I mean, the rest of the world does not care about movies as much as we do. And the people in Hollywood's world is even more insular. So they're not making decisions necessarily on whether or not they should resurrect these IPs based on anything other than the fact that, well, everyone loves this, don't they? But what is the economic reality of it?
Here's the important question. With this line of bad sci-fi we're being introduced to, what does that say about the opening weekend of Project Hail Mary?
That movie
concerns me.
A long time ago. Did you guys? I'm telling you, unless you get a miracle, that movie's not going to be a blockbuster. It is so niche just from that trailer that is apparently not even indicative of the actual tone.
I don't know,
man. Recent trailer is. I think the recent trailer gets the
recent. Okay.
I think that movie, because the book is, the book is so good. I think that movie is going to be huge because of the story. Because of it, it's going to be E.T. for the 2020s.
Yeah, and it definitely has that action movie. Stakes are so high. It's not just the Earth; it's a galaxy, right? There's so many stakes with it. The relation, not to ruin. We're not going to ruin anything. Yeah,
and you have a big name attached to it as well.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling, which I don't know how that helps the Star Wars Starfighter movie. I'm sort of jury's out on that. But Project Hail Mary, I think, will really resonate with people in the way that I think The Martian did, and maybe better. Because I really love The Martian.
Meets The Martian, like save the planet.
You should, if you read the book, you'll be 25 pages into the book and go, I have to see this movie.
It's riveting.
It's that good.
It's
a one sitting book. You will read it in one sitting.
I think it'll have a mediocre opening weekend, but if it's good, it'll have legs.
Word of mouth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.